done in 30 years.
Great people up there. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Bob and Tony.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
We did this last year. Some of you may have seen it, some may not have. But I want to make it clear that we are not doing a stunt fight. What I'm trying to explain to you, which I think would be important to you all, because you're talking about camera in the motion picture business and how stunt fighting worked with the camera. If you go back to the early days, when I say early days, I'm talking about John Wayne back in the late 20s and the early 30s. And these guys, when they did stunt fights, I mean, there was no coordination to it. They just went together in the bar room, and everybody's throwing punches. You know, you watch those old movies, you see all the misses. But you have the high fall down, the things break, and this and that. Then it got refined. When Yakima Canutt got a hold of Wayne, and the two of them started to think about getting a little more technical as far as camera was concerned. And then it really culminated with the Range Rider. Jock Mahoney really started great stunt fighting. I started, I was a kid, I was a watching kid. Yes, I was, my God, it was 1950, 51, something like that. And we were watching the Range Rider, and we saw a man, when he threw a punch, he threw a punch. It wasn't this stuff, it wasn't all this fighting, it was bam, it was here, it was there. And the other people that he worked with, Dickie Jones, of course, he had taught very well. So it all worked out because of camera. Now we'll show you a couple things, and I have my able assistant.
He didn't say fight, he said kissing.
Didn't know you went that way, Tony.
Over the wind.
You ought to see this guy shoot. Be careful how you talk to him. Tony just came with me from my ranch in Texas, and we were shooting 308s, 45, 9mm, and doing pretty good, weren't we? Catching some bass.
Yeah, we did.
Tony's a dear friend of mine. Most of you know he runs my website, is the head of the fandom, and a very, very close dear friend.
So don't hit me. Don't hit me.
That's what we're here for. I'm going to show you a couple things. Now, sometimes you all will be camera, and sometimes you all will be camera. And I will explain which way. So you'll get to see a hit, and you'll get to see a miss at the same time. For instance, we'll do a slap. We'll make you guys camera. You're here. Right here. Now, stand there. If we had one more person, it'd be the Three Stooges. So, yeah. Right there. All right, very simple, and I'm going to go slow motion to start with. So when I do come across Tony, just do a slow thing, and you will see. And a little more this way. Like that. Okay. All right. So. No. Slow motion.
We rehearsed this.
Oh, you can come back now. You don't have to stay there. A little faster. A little faster. A little faster. Did it look like a hit?
Yeah.
But it didn't to you all, did it? You saw that I missed him this far.
Right.
Interesting. When you think of the camera work on it, that's why you can have these incredible fights with these guys, and you don't want to hurt anybody. John Smith broke a stuntman's nose on Laramie one time, and when Smitty was 6'2", he hit the guy. But anyway, all right, we've done that one. I want to do one more. And since you guys are camera, you're going to stay camera right here. And again, slow motion. So, and it's not gonna be this, it's this. Coming back again, one more time, slow. Stay with 1/4 of a second longer. But this way, this way. Okay.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, do it full speed. Was it a hit?
Yeah.
Was it a miss?
Yes.
They will do it again this way now. So you guys, you'll see. Full speed this time. But, where was the miss? Who saw it?
I saw it.
Yeah.
Not that far. I got in a bar fight one night in Hollywood. A couple guys picked on me. I threw 2 punches at them and I missed each time. There's an interesting punch that can be used both ways. Camera can be shooting this way or it could be shooting that way. And we'll do it this way. Actually, since we have the audience the way it is, we've got to do it. So I'm gonna stand back this far. You are camera. You're gonna see the miss. This is straight punch on.
Oh,
Okay. Regular, fast motion. Ready?
Wow.
One more time for you guys. Now, did that look like I hit him?
No.
Not even close.
How far did I miss?
Far.
See? All right, for you guys.
Oh, wow, like a lot.
Give me a little more. Getting paid for this. $250 punch.
No more kissing.
Hey. Did it work? Did you see it? Oh, yeah. The one that you, when you were watching Laramie,
Yeah,
when you
this
were a
always-
baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I nearly did the same as babies do actually just now. But when you did Laramie, you did this great. People saw it was in an incident at Fandom Hill, it was in Laramie, it was in Wagon Train, where a guy would get you from the back.
Uh-huh.
And this was a great one because you talk about distance, but this defies distance. You would boom, and you would.
No, I break the,
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
do
You
that
did
first.
great.
break it, and
Then-
hit him in the stomach
and
and
then
turn
you're
around.
back.
You wanna do that one?
Oh yeah, that's one.
Like you're reading his mind.
Nice knowing you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're gonna do it for camera again. You guys are gonna be camera, you'll be off camera, so you will see. So we go this way. You wanna do it slow motion first?
Yeah.
To explain what's gonna happen, so I walk in and the bad guy goes, I break it, I back, hit him in the stomach like this, step back, and come across like this. You all seen that in Laramie?
Yeah.
My favorite. Speed on it, and do it, this is for you guys, not for you guys. You're gonna see the miss. Except the one thing you will not see as a miss, and let's do the stomach one just for a second right here. Let's do it. So this is what I do. Take it. Hey! Even there, does it look like I did? But that's up to me, and it's up to him to sell it when I do that. And I have to be very careful. The last thing I want to do is hit this big belly. Hurt my elbow! What's more, just for fun, take it for real. No, this one, just so you guys see. Anyway, that's up to me not to hit him, and it's up to him to sell it. You sell it. You
You're
sell
gonna
it.
sell this now?
Yeah, we're gonna sell this one now. Okay. Are we full speed? I don't know. Somehow I don't
I'm
trust
doing
you.
anything.
I don't trust you sometimes. Camera.
Okay. We just
Oh,
do
don't step on your Tic Tacs. This is for real for you guys, so
this is for real.
this is for real.
This is for real.
You're not hugging me. This is come behind me, that guy grabbed. Not. This brings on a story. Ken Farmer. Does anybody know who Ken Farmer is?
Yeah.
Better as an actor. I guess he was in a couple movies or whatever. But when I first met him, I was doing a show, Jake's Way. I was shooting down in Texas, and he hadn't become an actor. He wasn't really a stunt man, but he was on the show, and they picked him out to do a stunt with me. When I walk down a hallway, he is supposed to come up from behind me, do this exact thing. I set it up. I said, all right, here's what's going to happen. I walk down, he's the dad. I said, when I walk down the hallway, you're going to come out of the hallway and you're going to grab me. And so in the rehearsal, it was okay. But in the take, he grabbed me and I went, I mean, I couldn't even break. And I said, hey, this is motion pictures. And this is a strong guy. I mean, you see that arm like this. You know, he just couldn't get it through his head that when you grab somebody, you're going to look like you are. But I'm not grabbing you. Now break it. You know, I mean, it's that simple, but it has to be worked between the two people. And it took forever for him to finally do it to get a shot. So here's the scene. You guys behind me, and no hugging. He's just a big kid. But we did that for you guys, and you saw it. Did you see any misses? This camera over here. You did. Okay, so now we got no problem.
Okay.
Now don't do that again, Tony. All right, so for you guys being camera, it would be the you all saw me miss him this far. And that is the interesting part about camera work, doing stuff working in most every business. It's all camera. Well, camera's done a lot of things in this business, we know. Computer graphics and everything these days. But that's pretty much what we wanted to show you guys, but we do, we'll take a couple of moments here and if anybody has any questions about camera work or what they would like to know. First of all, before I say that, the only reason I know a little bit about camera is because my cameraman on Laramie was a man named Ray Ranahan, who invented Technicolor and was the Technicolor consultant on Going with the Wind. And when I started Laramie, in fact, when I did the test for Laramie, and for the 4 years I did the show, Ray Ranahan, this great gentleman, was the cameraman, and he taught me a lot about camera. And as an actor, now a lot of actors don't know about camera. They can't spell camera. A lot of cowboys today, or actors trying to be cowboys, can't spell horse. But he taught me a lot, and it's all, he said, you gotta make a love to that camera. So that camera is so important to you, the way you look at it, the way you know, you wanna know what frame is on, you know whether you're cut here, you're cut here, cut down here. And I would always say, what frame you got on? Where are you cutting me in this scene, to see just how far I could move, how far I couldn't move in the frame. And he taught me a lot. So with that, there's a question. Yeah.
Is it hard to coordinate the sound like? when you-
Oh, we know. That's done in days later inside a sound room. The Foley artists do that, of course. No, they put the sound effects in. Now, talking about gunshots, we use quarter, full, and half loads in our 45. So no, those are for real. But when you get a punch, no, it's done by somebody that we don't even see inside a stage someplace else when they're cutting the film. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
How many cameras on Laramie did you guys use when you're shooting scene 1 or 2?
God, we were lucky to get 2 if we ever did. It's very expensive, that big Mitchell 35. In those days, it was expensive. I cannot really remember getting to use 2 cameras. Today they use 2, 3, 4, and they have a steady cam. Now, do you all know what a steady cam is?
Put it on their shoulder.
Well, yeah, it's one that's on a balance thing, and the guy can walk with it. It's a gyroscope. And if Tony and I were doing that fight, and we had set it up, and you do set these fights up as a dance routine, really, as you think about it, 6, 7, 8 punches in a row. It's all coordinated and done. With a steady cam, he could walk around us like this and watch us do the fight, and there'd be no misses. And it saves a lot of time. But no, we didn't get a chance. Question? Yes, sir.
What's one of the main differences that you have
What's
when
one of-
filming a gunfight from a fist fight?
What's the difference, what?
What are some main differences that you have when filming a gunfight from a fist
From a
fight?
stunt fight?
Yeah.
All right, there's quite a few differences. I started to mention earlier talking about loads in our 45s. Our 45s, of course, are real Colt 45s. I still have mine from Laramie. Everything that I wore was mine and is. And they're real Colt 45s, but we shoot blanks. And we have a quarter load, a half load, and a full load. If I have a scene, Tony, you and I are in a bar, and I'm gonna draw on you in the show, I would have a quarter load because I'm shooting this close to him. And they would make the sound effect a lot louder in the film. But if I used a full load, I would burn his shirt and hurt him with a full load from this distance right here. I could blow a beer can up in the air right here with a full load. So I always use full loads in gunfights this far right here. You know, and do that, and it works great. But I like shooting full loads because you get the effect of shooting a real Colt 45. And we did it, so it's a big difference. Good question.
Bob, I hate to break this up, but the hotel has to get in here to break it down for the show tonight. So, well, they do.
One more question.
One more question.
Oh, do you had any accidents? Have you ever got hit by mistake when someone hit you?
No, I've never been
And you
hit.
never hit anybody by mistake?
No, I haven't. Like I said earlier, John Smith did break a stuntman's nose. I was doing a picture of quickly Sinai Commandos in Israel, and had a scene with the leading lady who, the day before she became an actress, was a beautician in a drugstore or something. And the next day, she was the star of the show. And we have a scene with her where one of our squad gets blown up and she gets hysterical and I have to slap her.
Play a lady.
I'm gonna play a lady. So in the scene, this is the camera going. I have to grab her up and slap her, and this is what happens. We gotta do it again. So I go to slap her. Same big scene. Now, so I mean the guy's bleeding on the ground, that thing, I pick her up, she's screaming. 5, 6, 7 takes. She never could do this. And the director came up to me and he said,
Hit her.
"Slap the crap out of her." And I said, "I can't do that. I couldn't. I would never hit a woman. I couldn't hit a woman." So I got to work with her a little bit. And we finally got the girl to turn her head the right way. It was so bad. He just wanted to do it. Anyway, thank you guys.
You got to see English ham here today. Thank you.